Chelsea have taken a massive step towards Champions League football after beating Liverpool by 3-1, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at how they did it. We're going to be breaking down the tactics involved and taking a look at how Cole Palmer played a pivotal role in getting them the win. Chelsea's win condition was to get their main man, Cole Palmer, into as many isolating situations as possible, allowing him to focus himself on those scenarios to be able to get his side playing and play those critical key passes, get those shots off, and also dictate play from the positions that he wanted to play in. To do this, they tried to isolate and really take apart Liverpool's 4-2-4 system. If we think about the way that Liverpool defend, you've got their 4 at the back, you've got their 2 in midfield, and you've got their 4 going forwards, looking to press and really pen Chelsea in. But when you take a look at the system that they employ, there's actually a couple of gaps on both sides of the 2 central midfielders, meaning if Liverpool aren't compact enough, that is an area that they might look towards. And what you're asking of the 2 holding midfielders is to come across and then come back again to try and make sure that both avenues are covered. Of course, this can be helped by the wingers coming back and doubling up as well, but most times you're looking towards those central midfielders to really cover those spaces. This is the area that Chelsea wanted to exploit, and in particular, looking to get Cole Palmer into this inside right channel for Chelsea. This allowed Neto to stay high and wide, and also gave Chelsea the ability to flow the play through Cole Palmer down this right hand channel a little bit more. So what Chelsea ended up doing was obviously operating with their 3 at the back system once in possession, moving Enzo Fernandez higher to become that left attacking midfielder, or that left 8, moving Palmer across, Lavia into midfield on that left hand side, and moving Caicedo into that midfield slot, shuffling Chalobah, Colwill and Cucurella across, giving you something like this. But the pivotal and key point was the dilemma that this gave Curtis Jones for Liverpool. Out on this left-hand side, Tsimikas held on to Neto, Gakpo was pushing on to Chalobah to try and condense that space, and Jones had a problem. Does he A, follow on to Cole Palmer, who would be operating in this inside right channel, or does he try to pressure with his teammate to try to stop Caicedo from pushing that ball through midfield? If you give the ball to Caicedo, the problem that you've got is that once you start to hold on to Cole Palmer, you're giving Caicedo license to roam, license to go forwards, but also if you start to follow Palmer, you're giving Caicedo the option to find Jackson, to find Lavia, to then look to find Enzo, and it starts to become a bit of an issue. Once you try to pressurize Caicedo, you've obviously got a problem with leaving Palmer in these spaces, and this happened time after time again. And even when Jones wanted to follow Palmer, Palmer's ability to spin into this space was pretty brilliant, allowing him to exploit the space that Jones will have left from being that little bit more aggressive. In this situation, you're then giving the license and the real directness of Palmer to be able to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and that's exactly what he did. And this is how Chelsea's first goal comes about. Although Cole Palmer doesn't get the goal, or he doesn't get an assist, he plays an instrumental and pivotal part in the way that Chelsea progressed the ball forwards and the way they managed to get some space in this game, and in particular for this goal. But to best understand what happens here, we need to understand what's going on in this moment right now. Romeo Lavia currently has the ball and he's being followed by Harvey Elliott. What you've also seen is, aside from Cody Gakpo following on and pressurising that Chelsea backline, he's actually taken it upon himself from the instructions and the manager to be able to follow Caicedo into this inside channel, because Caicedo is operating as a right back in this game for Chelsea from a defensive point of view. So it feels natural that Gakpo would then follow Caicedo. The problem that you're doing with that is you're leaving Cole Palmer in a 1v1 situation up against Curtis Jones. Jones is doing a decent enough job of following it, but what you have with Cole Palmer is incredible movement, world-class movement. He is an incredible player, and it's this movement that gives Cole Palmer the space, spinning so quickly, but also it's the vision of Lavia that gives himself the ability to find this pocket of space, and it's this space right here that Palmer wants to take. You've taken Jones out of the game, and now you're driving at that heart of Liverpool. You're taking Endo out of the game as well, because he's relying on his partner to pick up those loose balls, to pick up those stray passes and those players. But as it moves on, you've got Palmer now in acres of space, ready to drive forwards. This is a terrifying thought for Liverpool, and it's forced Virgil van Dijk to try to come and contest. The problem that you've got with this is the amount of Chelsea players that are now pushing forwards. You've got Neto here, you've got Jackson here, and just off of your screen, you've also got your left-handed player in Noni Madueke. He's behind Trent Alexander-Arnold. So in doing this, in taking Curtis Jones out of the game, you're not only taking him out, you're also taking Van Dijk out because he's having to push forwards, and you're giving Chelsea a 3v3 opportunity running towards Liverpool's back line. As this progresses, I just want to take a moment to show you a better angle of this. And look at what you've got. You've got Neto out on this far side asking for the ball here. He's up against Tsimikas. Van Dijk has had to jump out to try to slow down the play here. You've got Jackson onto Kwanzaa, and just at the bottom of your screen you've got Noni Madueke, who's making a run behind Trent Alexander-Arnold. A key part of this Chelsea attack is making sure that you're able to fill the box as well, and that's exactly what Chelsea do in just a moment. The ball goes over to Pedro Neto, and then it's about whether he can take that situation against Tsimikas. It's a really well-worked run by Neto, and as he's driving forwards, he's taking Van Dijk with him as well. Notice the runs of Nicholas Jackson, but more importantly, Enzo Fernandez and his ability to drive into the box. Remember what I said about Chelsea flooding the penalty area? Enzo does it here as well. He's begging for the ball. He's asking for the ball. He's ready to receive that pass because he knows he's unmarked. As the ball comes back in, you've got Enzo, who isn't being picked up by a single Liverpool player. You've also got Madueke on the far side. It is really well orchestrated by Chelsea, flooding that box, making themselves really dangerous. But it's so good from Enzo Fernandez to be able to take a touch, look at the amount of time and space he's got, absolutely fantastic, controls with his left, finishes with his right, and it goes in. But again, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for that brilliant movement from Cole Palmer and the taking of the space that was afforded to him. Before we take a look at Chelsea's second goal, I want to just mention how well they did from a defensive point of view. Typically, you'd see them operate in their 4-4-2, but they did something a little bit different. Instead of just holding a particular point of space, instead of holding a mid-block or even dropping down into a low block, they decided to be quite aggressive against Liverpool and utilise their aggression to really try to pen Liverpool in and prevent Liverpool from progressing through the centre of the pitch. They did this through essential 1v1 man-marking system that showed Neto following Tsimikas, Madueke pressuring Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you had two main players in Palmer and Jackson pressurising Van Dijk and Kwanzaa. But where this game was really interesting was in midfield. We've mentioned the real front runners in Chelsea that have been able to take the midfield game to Liverpool, but in this particular example, what they do so well from a defensive point of view is put Lavia onto Jones, preventing him from dropping that little bit deeper, Enzo onto Endo. That sounds a little bit funny, but Enzo onto Endo, and then you're asking what's going to happen with Harvey Elliott. Of course, you need to make sure that he's covered as well. Of course, you need to make sure that Liverpool's central attacking midfielder is covered, and what happened was Colwill ends up jumping from defence, pushing onto Elliott, which means that Liverpool weren't able to really progress the ball forward to the centre of the pitch. They were always being pressurised, meaning that they had to go down the wide areas, or Alisson had to go long. In asking Alisson to go long, you're now asking Chalobah, Caicedo and Cucurella to try to get a foothold in the game by getting a good aerial duel onto one of the Liverpool attackers. And more often than not, you had Chalobah being really aggressive onto Jota, Caicedo normally winning that duel onto Gakpo, and Cucurella doing a good job of recovering around down the wings against Salah. It meant that Chelsea were more often than not able to recycle possession, but if they weren't, it was okay because they dropped back into something of a mid-block to try and prevent Liverpool from progressing through. A really good job at stopping Liverpool from building from the get-go that gave Chelsea a real foothold in this match. I mentioned that Cole Palmer played a pivotal role in this game for Chelsea, and I really wasn't joking. He plays a key part in every single goal, and he only just scores one goal and doesn't get an assist. In this second goal, he plays a massive role in getting Chelsea to that attacking phase of play and making sure that it's almost impossible for Liverpool to try and get any kind of defensive cover. Watch this. You've got Cole Palmer here out on this right-hand channel, that free, flexible role, and he's also gotten himself away from these Liverpool midfielders. Look at them trying to track back. Cole Palmer's driving towards that Liverpool back line, taking that 2v1 against Tsimikas, but also driving down this right. As he drives down, you're now asking for a 1v1 against Tsimikas. Cole Palmer is deceptively fast, and he's also deceptively good with the ball at his feet. He looks a little bit clunky, he looks a little bit lanky, but don't let that fool you, because he's actually phenomenal. As he drives forwards against Tsimikas, he's going to go one way, then he goes another, and he cuts back onto his left foot to then drive forwards. This is really good. If I just take it back a moment, as he goes across, he almost double touches the ball. This gives Palmer the edge and allows him to drive towards the byline. Asking for his pace to then do the work, it drives forwards. Let me just take that back one more. He touches it once, and then he touches it again really quickly, and that hesitation, that second touch, takes Tsimikas out of the game. If you look at Tsimikas' body shape, the way he's shaped, his weight is on his right foot. He's not able to propel himself with his left just yet, and that gives Cole Palmer the edge to now start to drive. As he drives, he cuts the ball back into the penalty area, and you're asking for one of his teammates to get a touch in it. It's a fantastic block by Endo, and as it gets cleared by Van Dijk, it comes back off Kwanzaa and goes back in. But do not get it twisted. Do not get it mixed up. This was created by Cole Palmer. He might as well have scored the goal himself, because he did 90% of the work. It is a fantastic piece of running play by Palmer, and like I said, a pivotal key point in this goal. Before we end, let's take a look at that third goal. Of course, in the final moments of the match, and it wasn't created by Cole Palmer, but in fact scored by Cole Palmer. Remember, I said that he had an impact in every single goal. This comes about, though, from Liverpool looking to recycle possession to try and get something out of this game. Currently at 2-1, Liverpool have gotten themselves a goal back, trying to go forwards. The ball gets played across the box in towards Kwanzaa. But look at the run from Caicedo right here. He's playing as a central defensive midfielder. He's made a darting run to try to close down the space. And in doing so, because the pass wasn't particularly great, it gets intercepted. Kwanzaa ends up fouling. He ends up giving away a penalty. And who was there left to take it? That's right. It's the main man himself, Cole Palmer. What would Chelsea do without Cole Palmer? I really do not know. And when it comes to this, he's obviously been on a bit of a goal drought, but you never had any doubt about him finishing this. He finishes towards the bottom left-hand corner and puts Chelsea 3-1 up. Like I said, a monumental victory for Chelsea that puts them within touching distance of that Champions League. But of course, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. What did you make of Chelsea? What do you make of Liverpool? And do you think that Chelsea can get Champions League football by the end of the season? I would love to hear from you, so please do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something new, and hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.